It was the last day of work. After 42 years, he walked out of the office with his coat in one hand and a small box in the other. The box had some papers, a photo of his wife, and a coffee mug with the words, "Best Dad," on it. He stopped for a second on the steps, looked back at the building, and smiled. The rain was soft on his face. He liked it. He felt something he hadn't felt in many years. Freedom. His name was Victor. He was 65. He had worked in the same company since he was 23. His job was simple: numbers, papers, phone calls. The money was always enough. The days were long. The years passed fast. He was never unhappy, but he was never excited either. Victor didn't know what he wanted to do now. He had a little house outside the city. He had enough money to live quietly. But something in him wanted more. Not money. Not work. Something different. Something new. That evening, he made tea and sat in his kitchen. The room was quiet. Too quiet. He looked at the photo of his wife. She had died 5 years before. "What now, Anna?" he said out loud. His voice sounded strange in the silence. He laughed a little. On the table, next to the photo, was a letter. It had come 2 days ago, from his cousin Michael in London. Victor hadn't seen Michael in many years. The letter was simple. Michael wrote, "Come visit. London is beautiful this time of year. You need a little adventure." Victor laughed again. "Adventure," he said. But the idea stayed in his mind. All night he thought about it. At 3 a.m., he turned on the light, took out a small suitcase, and started to pack. A week later, he was on a plane to London. The plane was full of people, but Victor felt alone. He didn't mind. He liked watching people. A young girl was reading a book. A couple next to him was whispering and laughing. A boy across the aisle had headphones on and was nodding to music. Everyone had a life. A story. Victor closed his eyes and thought, what is my story now? In London, everything was new and noisy. The city moved fast. The cars were different. The buildings were old and beautiful. The people spoke quickly, with accents he didn't understand. Michael met him at the airport with a big smile. They hugged. It was warm and real. Michael's flat was small but full of books and light. That evening, they ate fish and chips and drank tea with milk. Michael said, "Victor, why don't you learn English? It will help you enjoy this city. You always said you wanted to try something new." Victor looked at him. "I'm too old," he said. Michael shook his head. "You're not too old. You're just starting to live." The next morning, Victor found a small school 5 blocks away. A sign said, "English classes for everyone, any age." He smiled. He walked in. The woman at the desk looked up and said, "Hello." Victor froze. He didn't know what to say. Then he smiled, pointed to the sign, and said, "I want English." The woman smiled back. "Welcome," she said. "You are in the right place." His first class was small. 6 people from 6 different countries. A woman from Poland. A man from Brazil. 2 students from China. An older lady from Egypt. And now, Victor from somewhere between the past and the future. The teacher was young, full of energy. Her name was Lucy. She said, "Today, we speak. Don't worry. Don't be shy. We speak and we smile. That's how we learn." Victor liked her at once. She didn't speak like the people on the street. Her words were slower, kinder. He listened carefully. He repeated words. He laughed when he made mistakes. Everyone laughed. It felt good. Not like school. Like life. Every day, he learned a little more. Words like coffee, street, thank you, where is the train? They were small words, but they opened big doors. He started to talk to people. A waiter. A taxi driver. A little girl in the park who asked if he liked dogs. "Yes," Victor said. "I like dog. Much." The girl smiled. "Dogs," she corrected. "Dogs," he said. And he smiled too. Michael saw the change. "You look younger," he told Victor one night. Victor nodded. "Maybe I feel alive." Michael said, "You are alive. You were sleeping before. Now you are awake. Victor started to walk more. He found small cafes where he could listen to people. He wrote down new words in a little notebook. At night, he read children's books. Simple stories. But to him, they were magic. One day, Lucy gave them homework. Tell a short story about your day, she said. Victor wrote, Today I walk to the park. I sit in the sun. A dog come to me. I say hello. The dog smile. I smile. It is a good day. Lucy read it and clapped her hands. Beautiful, she said. Simple. True. Victor felt proud. It was not a big story. But it was his story. Victor kept going to class. Every day, his English got a little better. Every day, he felt a little stronger. The words in his notebook became longer. His sentences made more sense. He could say more about his life. He could ask more questions. One afternoon after class, Lucy said, Victor, you are doing very well. Victor smiled. Thank you. I like English. I like to speak now. Lucy nodded. That's clear. You learn fast because you enjoy it. He walked home that day with a light step. The sky was gray, but he felt bright inside. At home, he made tea and opened his notebook. He looked at a new word, possibility. He said it out loud. Possibility. It tasted good in his mouth. The next day, something strange happened. After class, a man was standing outside the school. He wore a nice suit. He looked at Victor and smiled. Excuse me, the man said in a deep voice. Are you Victor? Victor was surprised. Yes, he said. I'm Daniel, the man said. Michael's friend. He told me about you. I run a little community project. We help people speak English better. We talk, we listen, we drink coffee. Would you like to come? Victor thought for a second. A new place, new people, new words. Maybe a little scary. But also exciting. Yes, he said. Great, said Daniel. Tomorrow. 10 o'clock. I'll send the address. The next morning, Victor put on his best sweater and went to the address. It was a small cafe. Inside, a group of people sat around a big table. Everyone had a cup of coffee or tea. Everyone looked happy. Daniel stood up and said, Everyone, this is Victor. He's new. Be kind. They all smiled. A woman said, Hello, Victor. Another man said, Nice to meet you. Victor sat down. At first, he listened. Then he spoke a little. He told them about the weather. He told them about his walk to the cafe. He said, London is cold, but my heart is warm. Everyone laughed in a kind way. One of the men clapped and said, Poet. Victor laughed too. No, no, he said. Just old man with new words. After that day, Victor came every week. Sometimes twice a week. He listened to stories from Peru, Nigeria, Korea, and Italy. He shared his own stories too. He started to say things he never said before. His voice became strong. One day, a man from the group said, Victor, you speak so well now. You should help others. Victor said, I'm still learning. We are all still learning, the man said. That night, Victor walked along the Thames. The river moved slowly. Lights danced on the water. He stopped on a bridge and looked out at the city. He had a sudden idea. He wanted to give something back. He wanted to teach too. Not grammar. Not big words. But courage. He could help others speak without fear. That was something. He talked to Lucy about it. You want to be a helper? She asked. Yes, he said. A helper. Lucy smiled. Then be one. Help the new students. Sit next to them. Talk slowly. Be their friend. From then on, Victor stayed after class to talk to beginners. He sat beside a man from Syria. He asked a woman from Ukraine about her favorite food. He helped a quiet student from Thailand say his first full sentence in English. The student said, I am happy today. And Victor said, yes. You are. I see it. One day, Lucy said, Victor, you are not a student anymore. Victor looked at her, confused. What am I then? She smiled. You are a guide. That night, Victor couldn't sleep. Not because he was worried. Because he was full of ideas. He took out a notebook, not the little one, but a big one, and he wrote, a book. I want to write a book. My book. My story. In English. At first, it was hard. He made many mistakes. He wrote slowly. But he kept going. Each page became easier. His words became clearer. He wrote about his first day in class. He wrote about Lucy. About Michael. About the man at the cafe. About the word, possibility. One morning, he brought the notebook to class. Lucy read it. Then she looked at Victor. Her eyes were soft. Victor, she said, this is beautiful. You must finish it. He nodded. I will. Victor's life became something new. Every morning, he woke with a small smile. Before, life was slow. Now, every day had meaning. He had places to go, people to see, words to learn, stories to hear. He bought a second notebook. This one was blue. In the blue notebook, he didn't write grammar or new vocabulary. He wrote thoughts, feelings, and little stories from the cafe and the school. Sometimes he wrote just one sentence. Sometimes he wrote 5 pages. One morning, at the cafe group, a woman named Rosa from Spain said, Victor, your English is good, but your stories are better. You make people feel something. Victor laughed. I only say what I feel. That's why it's good, she said. Rosa invited him to a reading night. People came and read poems or short stories. Some read in English. Some read in their own language with English translations. She said, you should come. Maybe you read something too. Victor was unsure. Read in front of people. He had never done that. But the idea stayed with him all day. That evening, he sat at his kitchen table and read through his notebook. He chose one short story, about the dog in the park. He made some changes. He read it out loud 3 times. Then he stopped being afraid. At the reading night, the room was small and warm. People clapped for each other. They listened with care. When it was Victor's turn, he stood up, holding his page in 2 hands. He looked at the audience, smiled, and began. I want to tell a small story, he said. It is about a dog. But maybe it is also about me. People listened. He spoke slowly. His words were simple, but his voice was strong. When he finished, there was silence for a moment. Then everyone clapped. Victor sat down, his face red, his heart full. Rosa leaned toward him and said, I think you are not just living now. I think you are shining. The next day, Lucy asked him, how was it? Victor said, I think I'm a little addicted to speaking. She laughed. That's a good problem. Later that week, something funny happened. A woman at the market heard him speak and asked, excuse me, are you American? Victor laughed out loud. No. Just learning English. Well, she said, you sound good. It was a small compliment, but it stayed with him all day. Victor began to explore the city more. He walked into bookstores, museums, libraries. He started to visit parks, just to sit and listen. He would write down pieces of conversation. He didn't copy words, he captured music. The rhythm of English. He met a man who played the violin in the street. The man said, words are like music. You have to feel them. Not just say them. Victor nodded. Yes. That's how I learn. One afternoon, while walking near Hyde Park, Victor saw a group of children chasing a ball. One boy kicked it too far and the ball rolled to Victor's feet. He picked it up and smiled. The boy said, sorry, mister. Victor tossed the ball back and said, no problem. Good kick. The boy shouted, thanks, and ran back to the game. Victor kept walking, but he couldn't stop smiling. He had spoken with a child. It was a small thing, but big to him. A year ago, he wouldn't have tried. Now, he could connect. Language wasn't only for books, it was for people. Back at the school, Lucy told the class, next week, we will do something different. Each of you will tell a story. Real or made up. Just a story. We will listen. You can use notes, or speak free. But use your English. Be brave. Victor raised his hand. How long the story? 5 minutes, Lucy said. Or less. It can even be 1 minute. But speak with feeling. Victor went home and thought about it. He opened his notebook again. So many little stories. He chose one. The one about his first day in London. The moment he heard people speak and felt like a baby, helpless but curious. He practiced in front of a mirror. He practiced in the kitchen. He even practiced to the parrot of a neighbor who sometimes sat in the window and said, "Hello." On the day of the story presentations, the classroom was full of energy. Some students were nervous. Some were excited. When it was Victor's turn, he stood up slowly, smiled at the class, and spoke. "When I came to London, I knew almost no English," he began. People spoke fast. I only heard music. But now, I can hear meaning. I can speak. I can laugh. I can live. This is my story. The class clapped. Lucy said, "That's not only a story. That's a victory." 1 year passed. Victor sat in his favorite park in London. The same park where, months ago, he met the little girl with the dog. Today, he was not a stranger. He was a Londoner now. Not by papers, but by heart. His English was not perfect. But it didn't need to be. He could say what he meant. He could laugh at a joke. He could help someone find a bus stop. He could speak with friends, with students, with strangers. Every week, he still went to the cafe group. But now, people listened when he gave advice. He was a guide, just like Lucy had said. He showed others that it was okay to be slow, to make mistakes, to try again. One man from Morocco said, "You are like our English grandfather." And Victor said, "Then speak loud. Grandfather can't hear so well." One Sunday, Victor got a message from Lucy. "Come to the school tomorrow. I have something for you." He came early. Lucy smiled and handed him a small certificate. "You finished the program," she said. "You're not a student now. You're part of the school." Victor looked at the paper. Then at Lucy. "Can I still come?" he asked. Lucy laughed. "Yes. But now as a volunteer." Victor nodded. "I like that." He looked around the room. It was full of memories. Full of hope. He thought about his first day, how lost he had felt. Now he felt like a lighthouse. Later that day, Victor met Michael in a quiet pub. They drank tea, not beer. Victor didn't like beer. So, Michael said, "You've done it. You learned English." "I did," Victor said. "But I also learned how to live." Michael smiled. "You're different now. More alive." Victor nodded. "Because I had to start again. I had to be a child. I had to be brave. I had to listen. I had to speak, even when I was afraid." "You've come far," Michael said. "I want to go further," Victor said. "What do you mean?" Victor took out his blue notebook. "I want to keep writing. Maybe finish my book. Maybe even publish it." Michael looked surprised. "You want to be a writer?" Victor smiled. "Maybe I already am." That evening, Victor walked home slowly. The city lights blinked in the wet streets. He heard languages from all over the world. Some he knew. Some he didn't. But they all sounded beautiful now. Because he understood something important: every voice matters. At home, he sat at his desk and opened his notebook. He wrote. "When I was 65, I began again. I became a student. Then I became a speaker. Then a storyteller. I was not young. But I was new. I was alive." If you are afraid to begin, don't be. Begin anyway. Even if you don't know the words. Even if your hands shake. Start with one sentence. Life begins where fear ends. He stopped writing. He looked out the window. The city was still awake. So was he. A few months later, Victor gave his first public talk. Not in school. Not at the cafe. But in a library, in front of real people, many of them learning English just like he had. The event was called Language and Life. Victor stood at the front of the room with a microphone in one hand and a page in the other. He said, "Hello, my name is Victor. I came to London 1 year ago. I had no English. But I had something more important. I had the wish to speak. To connect. To live. And I want you to know, if I can do it, you can too. After the talk, people clapped for a long time. One woman cried. Another young man came and said, "You made me feel brave." Victor smiled. Then I did something right. The library asked him to come again. And again. Soon, Victor had a group of his own. He didn't teach grammar. He taught confidence. Courage. Kindness. People called him teacher. He still felt like a student. On the one-year anniversary of his first English class, he returned to the school. Lucy was there. So were old friends. New students too. He said, "1 year ago, I was afraid to say hello. Today, I say thank you. Thank you for this life. Thank you for this language. Thank you for helping me find me." And so Victor lived. He read books. He wrote stories. He helped others. He drank tea. He laughed often. He walked every street like it was new. He didn't go back to his old job. He didn't need to. He had found a better one. Living. Thank you for listening to this story. If you liked it, write about it in the comments and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories.